Hey, what is up, guys? It is Rapmark here. So, bringing to you a new review for Space Jam: The New Legacy. It is pretty late, and I do apologize. For those who watch my vlogs, it's been kind of a crazy time for me, a crazy month. Yeah, just all sorts of just craziness. Anyway, though, let's get down to it. I did see it last Monday, and yeah, I've fallen behind. But yeah, this is going to be kept short. Um, this was not 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 the movie I was expecting it to be. Like I know it is meant for children, and I accept that. Like I didn't have like high expectations going into it, but it nailed all those down, and I was very underwhelmed and disappointed with this movie. Um, and from what I understand, is a very common feeling. Uh, to be honest, it felt like a majority of this movie was just promotion of HBO Max, Warner Brother IPs, and it felt very minimally like an actual movie. Like, and what's sad is it felt like there could have been something there. Like, I loved the original. The original was, I mean, it wasn't great by any means, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was, it was, it had its charm, you know, and at its core, it was very earnest. So I do have respect for that movie. I mean, if I was like in the sixth grade at the time, so I was like 10, 11 years old. So I enjoyed it growing up. I watched it all the time as a kid. Probably I don't know how I'd feel watching it now, but I'd probably give it a good 5 out of 6 or 5 or 6. Uh, this one um, this one made me very sad. I mean, you there were references everywhere in this movie. This was literally like, and it felt like it was trying to sell something for me, and it was. It was trying to promote HBO Max, as I understood, and it felt like it was selling to me. It wasn't telling me a story. It felt like it was selling me something, just with the huge amount of just IP placement, product placement. It was, and I hate movies that do that. Like I'm a big gamer, and I hate microtransactions. I mean, I accept them in a way. I used to do skins like back in League of Legends when I played that. um, but overall, like I hate what microtransactions have done to the sports genre and their appearance in a lot of other genres, which I'm just like, why? Why are you doing this? And that is how I felt with this movie. It felt like it was just like, hey, all these franchises and IPs, guess what? We have them, and we're gonna sell them to you. And I don't even feel like they were done justice. Like again, I get it's a kids movie, but I mean, there were references to Clockwork Orange. Like, what? Pennywise from It, and they weren't good portrayals. Like, I mean, I get it, kids movie again, but it's just like I felt like it just threw out all these references. And what kid is gonna know Clockwork Orange? What kid is gonna know like? Well, I don't know. Maybe they might know it, but I mean, there are some really like old references to Warner Brothers stuff. And RoboCop was there, even though that's not a WB franchise, and it's just, oh my gosh, it was super weird. It was super weird. Like I was not a fan of this. Uh, it made me feel like this was cynically just trying to sell things, because like it brought, again, the older references. It's just like, hey, your kids like this, you should buy it, not only because they'll like this, but because we're bringing out nostalgia. nostalgia of all the old movies you loved, and it's just like the Goonies, and I'm just like, oh my god, why, why are you doing this to me? Why would you be doing this to me? Ugh. I mean, what have we got? I mean, the story was it was out there. It was it wasn't the worst story, but at the same time, like it felt like it knew where it was gonna start and it knew where it was gonna end, and then the middle is just a big jumbled mess. Like I was gonna say, like it had a beginning, a middle, and it didn't really have a middle. It had stuff that happened between the beginning and the end, and it was just it just felt weird. It made me a little angry because again, I don't like being sold stuff like that. It just felt ham-fisted with its product placement. Oh, it just made me so mad. The music was kind of forgettable, to be honest. I mean, I know it's been about a week since I've seen it, but I mean, there's like I'll never forget some of the songs from like the original Space Jam. Like that that had at least some memorable music, and it had a story. It felt like it had a decent story. This one literally felt like it was like the story was made for like very young kids who just like, oh, Bugs Bunny cartoons, I like this, and then it catered to the adult audience just by throwing a whole bunch of nostalgia out, and I was not impressed. Like there, and I just felt like a lot of the worlds that it brought up, like I did like that there was a variety of worlds. There's a lot of worlds in this. We'll get into that. And I do like the visualizations, how everything felt different. I did like that. Um, I, but I felt like a lot of franchises, they just completely took a dump on, and I was not happy. I was not happy with it. Um, what more can I say? Let's see the act. I mean, again, athletes going in a movie star, it's hit or miss. And LeBron, I mean, it wasn't his best work. I mean, I give him props for trying. He did have moments, but I don't know. It was kind of on par with what I expected, you know. And obviously, they didn't use his real family. It just some of the things seemed really weird. I'll get into that in spoilers, but honestly, I think that's gonna be it for like my actual feelings about it. It was just I didn't feel it was good. I felt like it was a waste of my time and money. Um, I would not recommend going to see this. My score on this was a 2 of 10. Because again, and the only reason it didn't get a 1 is because again it had some sort of structure. It had a beginning and an end. But I'm just like, ugh, I was just not a fan. So anyway, that was my feelings and impression on Space Jam: A New Legacy. So I will be back in a bit with the spoilers, and I will see you then. Hey, what's up, guys? So let's go into the spoilers. So, whoo, holy crap! All right, so I will say I did like how it started up, like kind of. It shows him in high school. It was a little weird because, I mean, if you know anything about LeBron James, like he was a big kid. He was like 6 feet tall in junior high, and it shows him in this as tall as everyone else, and it's just like he's really small for LeBron. LeBron was a big boy, even at a young age. But I mean, I did like how it kind of brought in the whole family, like what he had to go through, stuff like that. He went through a lot. He did. And, good on him. He does give a lot to charity. And he's done a lot of good work. So, nothing against LeBron personally. It was just, it just seemed a little weird, like his size. And that's really the only complaint I have with the how it started. And then you go into like him and his kids, how he is like the boys to like teach them to be basketball, like not never give up, and it's just like, come on, this is so stereotypical, and I don't know, it just felt like it didn't feel genuine, I guess, to me at least. I mean, some people may disagree, but I mean, yeah, the very first it seemed a little forced. Like one of his kids wants to, go into video games, and it's just like is making his own video game, and that's they brought it about in a little in a cool kind of way. I mean, so but he doesn't have the courage to tell his dad. All right, so then we go into after a talk, he walks off and uh but he's going into a meeting with Warner Brothers, and I guess this AI algorithm, silly. I can get it again. Kids movie. It was cheesy, but yeah. So he's got this idea. He apparently has control of like everything. They're just like, hey, let's just let algae rhythm figure out all of our stuff. And I did like how they kind of portrayed like them as the bad guy. It was, and that's where I thought they were gonna go, but no, it was just they're just talking to him about this idea that algae rhythm had to, plaster his face onto all these franchises. And he's just like, man, this is stupid. This is like the worst idea ever. Just totally shat on it. But apparently, yeah, this makes Algae Rhythm mad, or Al. I'll just call him Al. Um, and so he decides he's going to trick his kid because his kid's with him, the one who makes the video game, and brings him into the what do they call it? Something verse. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. Something verse. I'm trying to find it. I don't want to take too long. Serververse. There we go. Serververse. All right. So yeah, the serververse, brings his son in and tricks them both into being stuck in the serververse, how it sucks them in somehow. Again, kids movie, whatever. I guess I can kind of bring it. But anyway, he separates LeBron from his son. And in the meantime, in the real world, everyone's freaking out, and it's kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, back in the serververse, like, so LeBron has to together a team to play basketball against Al's team, Algae's team. There we go, Algae. There we go. And so he goes off. He immediately goes into the Looney Tunes universe. There's only Bugs Bunny there. Everyone, I guess, went to other franchises, which was super weird way of introducing everything. Like, I mean, we go all over the place. We go into like the DC Comics, Mad Max. Let's see, who was DC Comics? That was Porky and Daffy. Mad Max, that was Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. That was weird. That was a super super weird reference right there. Like, oh, there was the Matrix with Granny. It, I didn't know what to think of that. I didn't hate that one. It was just super weird. And I'm just like, all right, old woman beats up everyone. Sure, cool. Casablanca. Who was in Casablanca? I'm trying to remember who that was. Because I remember there was a Casablanca reference. And I was a little upset about the whole Pepe Le Pew thing. But it is what it is. I don't want to get into that controversy, but it's whatever. Game of Thrones, it's just like, what? And then Lola was in Wonder Woman somehow, being an Amazon, which played no part. Like, what? It was just, I just felt like it crapped on a whole bunch of my favorite franchises, and it just made me really bad. So LeBron wants to get all these, A-teamers, Superman, Iron Giant, stuff like that, and he's just like, no, you're stuck with the B team. You're stuck with all the Looney Tunes, which, I guess is the point, but it's just like, well, this seems contrived. I mean, it was fun to see them all together, but obviously, he's just like, they're goofy, they want to have a good time, and he's just like teaching them about fundamentals. It's just, these are Looney Tunes. Like, what are you doing, man? Not everything is about base. Like, they made LeBron fairly one-dimensional, and I know that basketball is a huge part of his life. I mean, hell, obviously, but I mean, this is like they turned him into a one-dimensional character, and it felt really really kind of sad. So anyway, his son is with Algie at this time. He's talking about his game, talking about fixing the character, which was broken while him and his son were talking about his game. Because of a move he does in real life that apparently broke the game. It deleted a character that he had. So he essentially takes the son's game, steals the code, and then he convinces LeBron's son to, because he wants to create the team, so he's using his son's LeBron's son's characters in the game, and he's just like, you know what, you do whatever you want, mix and match. So yeah, one becomes a snake thing, one is like with fire. And oh gosh, again, it's been a minute. I apologize, but yeah, like there was a lot, and just these elite team members. And then, so the game starts. So, and the Looney Tunes are nowhere near ready for this. So the Toon Squad, as they're called, and it's just obviously in reference. And then there's the Goon Squad, reference the other one, and they do make an appearance in this, and it's just, but it's a brief cameo. It's like, come on, like, so many missed opportunities for this, all just for the sake of product placement. It just makes me so mad. Oh, absolutely furious. So up the stakes, he kidnaps a bunch of people from the real world because I guess he has a whole lot of social media stuff going on. So millions of people, and it's super weird. Like there's all these again franchise IPs from Warner Brothers that come in, and then a whole bunch of just real life people, and like at the again for like a kids movie, I get suspension of disbelief, especially if you're an adult. But at this point, you're already lost in the sauce. You're just you're off on this weird adventure, and I just didn't feel that with the like especially when the game begins and it transforms the tunes into like something a bit more real, and it's just like so this what was the point of this? Like it never explains why. Like what was the point of doing this? And then it's not actual basketball. It's literally his son's game, which again takes everything. This all the stakes, all the tension is gone because I mean, eventually cheats are made. Like there's some interesting moves, but I mean, there's like power ups and style points. It was super weird. Like there's at one point they're down by like I think it's like 6,000 or 9,000 points, something like that. Like unsurmountable. They have like 26 points to like whatever thousand, and then at halftime he's just like yelling at him. It's just like, what are you doing? And just like, well, we're not like you. And just like, the light bulb, which at this point I was just like, whatever, dude. It just seemed really contrived. And oh my god, the crowd! I was just like just crappy cosplay like type things. Like Pennywise is there just goofing off like around children, and I'm just like, it made me very, very sad. I saw agents from the Matrix, and a few of these actors like seemed to be on a loop. It was, it just, oh my god, my suspension was completely gone. Like I didn't really even much watch the game itself. I loved the announcers. The announcers I did like, and they actually used two real ones. Who did they actually use? They used, where's the cast? Oh my gosh, why is it doing this to me? Anyway, I don't know. I don't know. It's there somewhere. I know I read it here somewhere, but yeah, the two announcers, I did like them. Just their banner back and forth, that was fun. But it was, I just began looking around, seeing who the heck I could find. I mean, the references. I mean, you would see again Mad Max. It was super, God, and why? Like, oh, Gremlins. Yeah, you saw Gremlins, Beetlejuice, Yogi Bear was there. I saw Muttley. Obviously, the Flintstones. Yeah, there were a lot. Batman. It was whatever. Jim West from Wild Wild West was in that. Oh God. But yeah, I was. So anyway, they're in the lead, and Algie cheats, takes away a point, and it's just like, why didn't you do that in the first place? Like, again, there was no tension. And then he realizes the only way to win is to do that that move he does in real life, which causes a glitch, but it could potentially cause like the character that does it to erase. So he's going to do it because he figures he's all right because he's an actual real person. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, so they do that. It causes him to glitch out, and then he goes for a long. The last shot, he gets the ball, goes for a long shot, and I think they're going to do like the funny like arm stretch thing because this is the Toon universe. This is that's what you expect. But no, he steps on a power up, goes for it. Looks like he's going to get it. Algae grabs him, is going to pull him down. And then. Eh, oh my gosh, I'm just so. This movie, oh my god. So his son helps him, gets the shot, and then Algae gets posterized, and then gets deleted, and so is the Goon Squad. They're all gone. So they go into the real world. Algae's deleted, I guess, somehow through posterization. Uh, and yeah, so it ends up they're back. He's taking his son to basketball camp, but it turns out no, it is the E3 game design camp. So that is how it ends. It's just like lesson learned. And I was like, all right. So yeah, that's pretty much the movie. I wanted to keep it short because I didn't want to just end up bagging on it. I mean, I ended up bagging on it, but I didn't want to spend longer than I felt I probably needed to bag on it. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but uh, yeah. So again, 2 out of 10. This movie, in my opinion, even if you have kids, isn't worth your time. It just seems like a giant ad for Warner Brothers stuff. So that was my thoughts. I don't know if you enjoyed it, but I hope you did. Listen to me rant and rave about how bad this movie was for me. Uh, but yeah, I will see you for the next review. And I hope you all have a good one. Anyway, see ya.